The notification flashed on Leo Kwan's tablet, bright blue against the dim light of his modest apartment. "Commander Vane and her 6 daughters have matched with you." He stared, blinked, then let out a snort. 6 daughters? And, Commander? Definitely a prank. His friends, bless their twisted hearts, had probably cooked this up after his last disastrous dating app experience. He imagined them high-fiving in some dark corner, chortling at his gullibility. Leo just shook his head, a wry smile playing on his lips. "Very funny, guys," he muttered, swiping the notification away. But as the notification vanished, a familiar pang of cosmic insignificance settled in Leo's chest. He walked to his window, gazing at the sprawling, neon-streaked cityscape that blurred into the star-dusted night sky. Humanity, for all its grand achievements, often felt like a fleeting blip in the vast, indifferent universe. He'd always believed humans were just another species, no more special than any other, destined to rise and fall without leaving a mark beyond their own solar system. This alien date was just a joke, but it touched on that quiet, underlying doubt. Perhaps that's why, despite everything, a tiny part of him was curious. Still, he found himself outside the upscale Stellar Bistro an hour later, a knot of unease tightening in his stomach. He scanned the sleek, modern facade, then the street, looking for any telltale signs. A hidden camera lens, a familiar snicker from the shadows. Nothing. The restaurant hummed with a normal, sophisticated ambience. Leo's prank theory wavered, replaced by a growing, unsettling anticipation. He pushed open the heavy glass door, stepping into the unknown. And then he saw her. Seated at a prominent table, she was nearly 7 feet tall, her skin a deep, luminous violet that seemed to absorb the restaurant's soft lighting. Commander Vane. Her eyes, large and obsidian, met his with an unsettlingly calm intensity. Leo's breath hitched. His brain, so accustomed to the mundane, sputtered, trying to reconcile the image before him with the reality of Earth. This wasn't a prank. This was real. Leo Kwan? Her voice was a low, resonant purr. He could only manage a stunned nod. Xylia's lips, a darker shade of violet, curved into something that might have been a smile. She gestured around the vast, circular table. "And these are my daughters." 6 more figures, all with the same striking violet skin and elegant, elongated features, looked up. They ranged in height, but each possessed Xylia's piercing gaze. Lyra, Zephyr, Nova, Pip, Alara, Rhea, Cora. 7 of them. Leo felt a dizzying mix of absolute shock and a bizarre, bewildered amusement. This wasn't just a date. It was a full-blown alien family reunion. "This is really happening," he thought, the words echoing with a surreal clang in his mind. Leo fumbled into a seat opposite Xylia, the enormous table feeling both opulent and intimidating. "I apologize for the unconventional arrangement, Mr. Kwan," Xylia began, her voice retaining its smooth, authoritative tone. "In Zephyrian culture, a potential mate's suitability is determined through the collective assessment of their offspring. It ensures harmonious integration into the family unit." Leo swallowed, trying to wrap his head around that. "Right, of course. 6 daughters. And their assessment." He managed a weak smile. This was definitely not in the dating app tutorial. Xylia nodded, her gaze unblinking. "Indeed. Our presence on your planet is part of a larger galactic council cultural exchange. My species, in particular, has developed a fascination with humanity." Her words were polite, almost academic, but Leo detected a subtle, underlying analytical detachment. He felt less like a date, and more like a specimen under a very powerful, very violet microscope. The daughters exchanged quick glances, their obsidian eyes seeming to take in every detail of his nervous fidgeting. This wasn't just a date, it was an assignment. Lyra, the eldest daughter, spoke first, her voice thoughtful. "Human courtship rituals are complex, far removed from our genetic pairing algorithms." Zephyr, slightly more pragmatic, added, "The inefficiency of energy expenditure for a potentially unsuccessful outcome is remarkable." Leo, feeling a sudden, unexpected urge to defend his species, leaned forward. "It's about connection, though. Emotional connection, not just genetic compatibility. It's messy, sure, but it's about finding someone who sees you." The daughters tilted their heads, a flicker of genuine curiosity in their eyes. To his surprise, Leo found himself genuinely enjoying the conversation. The initial shock had begun to wear off, replaced by a growing curiosity. Zelia, despite her formality, possessed an undeniable intelligence, and her daughters, each with their own distinct personalities, were clearly brilliant. He was no longer just a human on a bizarre date. He was a human engaging with intelligent, insightful beings from across the stars. The feeling of being overwhelmed gave way to a burgeoning sense of engagement. He leaned back, a subtle smile forming. Maybe this wouldn't be so bad after all. Our initial data on humanity prior to first contact, Zelia interjected, her voice cutting through the hum of the restaurant, suggested certain physical limitations. Your species lacks natural defenses, formidable strength, or inherent flight capabilities. Leo felt a slight prick of defensiveness. Well, we're not exactly built for combat, no. Zelia simply observed him, her expression unreadable. Her tone remained analytical, but Leo sensed an unexpected conclusion lurking beneath her words. She was setting up a reveal, and he was intrigued. Yet, Zelia continued, humanity's performance in military assessments has been, shall we say, remarkably disproportionate to those initial statistical projections. Leo blinked. Disproportionate? Commander, we're squishy. We break easily. We don't have claws or natural armor, or even much in the way of fangs. He chuckled, but Zelia remained serious. You lack those, yes, but you possess other qualities. Qualities that make you exceptionally formidable. The daughters nodded in agreement, their gazes intense. Lyra picked up the thread. During the Vortec Collective's attempted annexation of Kepler-7, outgunned human colonists converted agricultural equipment into functional defensive weaponry. Tractors became armored vehicles, crop dusters became improvised bombers. Nova, her eyes gleaming, added, They held out for 6 months, 6 months! Against a force that should have overwhelmed them in days. Their tenacity, their sheer improvisation was unprecedented. Leo listened, stunned. He'd read about the Kepler-7 conflict, but never with such vivid detail, or from such an admiring perspective. A strange, unfamiliar pride began to swell within Leo. He had always viewed humanity as a fragile, quarrelsome species, prone to self-destruction and utterly insignificant in the grand scheme of the cosmos. But hearing these violet-skinned aliens recount tales of human ingenuity and resilience, not with judgment, but with genuine admiration, ignited a spark he hadn't known was there. Perhaps humanity wasn't so insignificant after all. Perhaps there was something truly special about them. Zelia's voice softened, losing some of its analytical edge. But perhaps humanity's greatest strength, the one that truly sets you apart, is your capacity for empathy, your ability to form bonds across species lines, to extend compassion without expectation of return. She paused, her gaze distant. During the Kepler 442b plague, when 17 species were ravaged, it was human medical teams, unasked, unafraid, who crossed battle lines to offer aid. Selfless, utterly unique. Leo felt a lump form in his throat. He had never considered humanity in such a profound, beautiful light. Just as Leo was about to speak, Pip, the youngest daughter, piped up, her voice high and excited. And your humor! It's so bizarre, but so infectious. My entire battalion now makes dad jokes thanks to your data streams. She giggled, a sound like tiny chimes, and several of her sisters chuckled. Leo burst out laughing, a genuine, hearty sound that surprised even himself. At that moment, a waiter arrived, placing plates of decadent chocolate dessert before them. The rich aroma filled the air, a sweet counterpoint to the cosmic revelations. The laughter died down, and a sudden immense weight settled on Leo's shoulders. The chocolate dessert, so tempting moments ago, now seemed irrelevant. This wasn't just a date or even a cultural exchange anymore. He was sitting here, representing his entire species, being assessed by a galactic power. His every word, every reaction, every shared laugh was being processed, analyzed. The realization hit him with the force of a cosmic hammer. He wasn't just Leo Kwan tonight. He was humanity, distilled into a single, slightly overwhelmed man. Zelia's demeanor shifted, becoming utterly serious. Mr. Kwan, there is something more you must understand. Her obsidian eyes bored into his. My mission here was not merely cultural exchange. It was intelligence gathering for the Galactic Council. Your species, with its rapid expansion and unpredictable nature, has been viewed as a potential threat. Leo's heart pounded. A threat? To galactic peace? He stammered, the words barely escaping his lips. The daughters' expressions grew tense, their collective gaze fixed on their mother. Zalia leaned forward, her voice dropping to a powerful, resonant whisper that seemed to fill the entire room. No, Leo Kwan. You are not a threat to galactic peace. My report to the Council will state the opposite. Her gaze softened, a hint of something akin to warmth entering her eyes. Humanity is galactic peace. Your empathy, your tenacity, your capacity for connection across all divides. These are the very qualities that can unite a fractured galaxy. You are not just another species. You are essential. Leo was speechless, utterly overwhelmed by the profound weight of her declaration. After a long moment, Leo managed to whisper, "So how did I do? On the assessment?" Zalia's stern expression finally cracked. A genuine, radiant smile transformed her violet face. You, Leo Kwan, passed with honors. Lyra, her eyes shining, raised her glass. To humanity, she said, her voice clear and strong. The galaxy's most unlikely peacemakers. The other daughters echoed her, their glasses clinking softly. Leo felt a wave of relief and a surging, boundless pride. He raised his own glass, his hand surprisingly steady. Outside the restaurant, under the vast, starlit earth sky, Zilia turned to Leo. I would like to propose a second date, Leo Kwan, perhaps with fewer daughters next time. A playful glint entered her obsidian eyes. Leo grinned, feeling a warmth spread through him that had nothing to do with the evening's wine. Only if I get to pick the restaurant, he countered. Have you ever had pizza? A chorus of delighted, chattering laughter erupted from Zalia and her daughters, their alien forms silhouetted against the city lights. Leo watched them, a profound sense of contentment settling over him. He'd always felt so small, so alone in the universe. But tonight, he realized humanity's true strength wasn't in its physical prowess, but in its boundless capacity to connect, to find family, even among violet-skinned aliens.